History made, lessons learned, comeback loading. That's in today's episode of Backstage Pass.
I feel like Mike Jordan.
Well, it was by no means the way Jake White and his Chargers would have wanted to kick off their Vodacom URC campaign. They ultimately succumbed to a 31-3 loss against 8-time champion juggernaut that is Leinster. And there's no way of sugarcoating it. We were outplayed for large swaths of the game. We lost the gain line battle, the set piece battle, the territory battle, but ultimately the difference for me was the fact that Leinster grabbed their opportunities with ruthless intent and we just weren't able to capitalize on our opportunities. But as Jake White said in post, a reality check is in order. I mean, this is 8-time champion Leinster we're talking about, a juggernaut of the competition, the best team in the competition.
They're a good side. They're a good side, guys. I mean, they are the benchmark team that beats them will win this competition. If you don't beat them, they're going to win the competition. And I mean, that's as simple as that.
So what went wrong? I think there were a number of issues in the first half. We missed far too many tackles. We fell off those tackles. We only had 83% tackle success rate. We lost the set piece battle. Our lineup was misfiring. We were plagued by some ill discipline. The penalties started stacking up a little bit. You just can't go into the sheds 14 points down against Leinster. Then in the second half, when you're chasing the game, you need 2 converted tries to get back into the hunt. We only had 38% of the pull. So what positives can we draw from this game? There are some shining lights. I think the individual performance of Marcel Coetzee as a captain was really good. He led the physical charge, making 22 tackles. Ulrich Loh, I thought, was also impressive. He was the guy that got us over the advantage line. I predicted earlier that he will be a Springbok by the end of the year on that end-of-year tour. I'm sticking to that prediction. In the backline, I thought Marosh Tambwe was really threatening with ball in hand. He made 57 meters. He beat 5 defenders. He almost scored a try, and it was brilliant in the air. As Jake White said in post, we weren't totally outplayed. There were swaths in the game where we played really, really well. We just failed to grab those opportunities. I mean, there were 2 tries left on the park. Cornel Hendricks over the line, the ball gets stripped by Josh van der Fleer. Marosh Tambwe, there's a knock-on in the build-up to his try. If you grab those opportunities, suddenly you go into the shed 17-all, you well within that game. And I'm not saying that we would have won that game. Leinster were the better team on the day, there's no doubt about it. But are the Vodacom Bulls 28 points worse than Leinster? Is there really that chasm in class? I don't believe so. As Jake White said, if you're not winning, you're learning. I think we'll take those lessons out, and if we do meet Leinster again down the road, I think we'll be better prepared for that onslaught. Let's move on to our next opponent, and that is Connacht playing this Friday. They did lose their opening game against Cardiff last week, and they've traditionally been the whipping boys of Irish rugby. However, they are by no means a cakewalk. They're a well-drilled, well-coached team under Andy Friend, and they've got ballers in that pack and in that back line. And the one thing I want to highlight with a team like Connacht is their attack. They're a tough team to analyze, but the one word I would use to describe them is variety. They've got so many options out wide. They implement this 2-4-2 attacking system, unlike the 1-3-3-1 that most teams implement that's in vogue at the moment. It means they can really stretch defenses to their limits. They've got 2 big boys on each wing to look out for those mismatches against the smaller backs. They also don't have those isolated breakdowns because they've got forwards out wide to give that quick ruck cycle so they can play wide. In the middle, they've got 4 big boys so they can go up the guts. They can play north to south rugby as well. The attack is pretty much predicated on Bundy Aki, their number 12. He's a hard-running, hard-hitting gain line merchant, similar to Damien Delende. He didn't play last week, but he's the guy they look to give them some purchase and get them over the advantage line. Other than Bundy Aki, there's some other really good players to look out for. One is their captain, Jared Butler. He's a Michael Hooper-esque type of hard-working, hard-nosed, loose forward. Alton Delane is a handy lock with international experience. Finlay Beelum is a 123 kg behemoth at tight head. He's a rotational player for Ireland, but he's a baller as well, not just a scrummaging technician. In the backline, one man I want to look at is Kieran Marmion. He scored a brace last week. He's a live wire, a linchpin for them at scrum half. But the man to look out for is playmaker number 10, Jack Carty. He pulls the strings. He can make something out of nothing. He's a really good player for Ireland. He's a brilliant player for Connacht. We need to shut him down if we want to take the W from Connacht. We cannot underestimate these boys from Galway. They're a tough nut to crack. They've got a good attacking system, but I think we will have too much class for them on the day, and I think we'll take a 7-point victory. Comment below with your predictions, and I'll see you next week for another episode of Backstage Pass.
I feel like Mike Jordan, give me the rock and I'm scoring.